Before you place your next trade, watch this. We are stepping into a new market cycle. And if you're still trading like it's 2023, you are already behind. Today, I am joined by a seasoned trader who knows how to spot shifts before the market moves. Welcome back to your daily market brief. I'm Francois du Plessis, your market analyst here at ATFX Africa. Today's session, joining me is none other than James Bruce, a top prop firm trader and coach with deep insights into the DAX and NASDAQ, and more specifically on how traders can sharpen their edge in this evolving landscape. We'll be talking about strategy shifts, trading prep for high impact events, and how to truly master indices in 2025. James, welcome to the show. Could you please share a little bit more about yourself and what you do with our viewers?
Yeah, great to be on, Francois. So as mentioned, my name is James Bruce. I've been day trading for 7-8 years now. And more recently, in the last 2 years, switched over to mainly trading the DAX index, which is the German index, German stock market index, as well as the NASDAQ and S&P. That's a little bit about me. I did play some rugby beforehand, so did a little bit of a career shift. And I do have my bachelor's degree in commerce, if that counts in the technical analysis space. Not really, but yeah, you always need to put that in there. But yeah, been trading for 7 years. I do work with a lot of guys from the States, and those are the guys that kind of got me into trading of more of the indexes, as futures trading and trading of futures assets have become quite more popular. But that's a little bit about me.
Absolutely fantastic. James, I think let's dive right in. How has your strategies adapted with the recent shifts that we have seen in indices, especially as we've seen, behavior change within indices like you mentioned, like NASDAQ and DAX?
Coming again from trading currencies, those currency pairs move a lot more slowly. So the reason I actually switched over was we could see like on an average day, so ADR, the currency pairs like the pound dollar was moving maybe about 50 pips, right? Whereas the indexes have been moving really, really nicely. This was about last year, beginning of last year. And I said to myself, I was struggling to make money in the beginning of last year. And I was like, I need to make a change, and ended up making a change to indexes and had a great second half of the year, simply because I was trading an asset class that was moving more suited to how I wanted to trade. So in terms of the indexes, though, specifically, I mean, we've obviously seen this year the tariff talks have created a host of volatility. I mean, I think we're down from the S&P and NASDAQ compared to where we are sitting at right now, or at all-time highs. We're up like almost 30%. So the things are moving pretty crazy. I mean, the one day NASDAQ had a 10% day, and that's something that I had to kind of get used to, because you're not going to see the pound dollar have a 10% day to the high side, right? That's for sure. So yeah, I think in terms of volatility, just managing your risk, keeping knowing where your stops are, and not getting blown out of the water. I think that's something that has helped me particularly right now. Right now we are trading quite heavily above key levels, key moving averages, and so not trying to fight the trend and trying to short, at all-time highs. I think that's been quite key for me at the moment.
Beautiful. James, as you say, we're currently trading above key levels and so forth as well. And there's so much noise currently surrounding indices, especially with, on social media and so forth. So in your experience, what do you think retail traders misunderstand the most about trading indices?
I think in terms of retail traders about indices, definitely that you can make quick money. I think a lot of the times we see on social media, online, people are saying, come trade the NASDAQ, you can make 5 times the amount of money. It's just not the case. You can also lose all your money if you're not careful. So again, it's like, how much are you risking? So let's just say you want to risk 1,000 Rand. Easy example, you want to risk 1,000 Rand. This is where your stop loss is. This is where your take profit is. It doesn't mean that you're going to come to the indexes and all of a sudden it's going to fix all your problems and you make get rich quick money. It's not going to happen. So I think that is a big misconception that I see online. That you just need to be careful of, because these things can be volatile, but you just have to know where your risks is on them. Yeah, that I think is probably the biggest one that I've seen personally.
Super tight spreads. Yeah, tighter than your jeans after Christmas lunch. What if you could get this value today? Turns out you can. Join ATFX now and let's get you started.
Awesome. Let's shift a little bit, okay? So as a trader, and especially as an indice trader, big news events like NFP or CPI can honestly make or break your week. Am I correct in saying that? Yes or no?
Yeah. I don't typically hold into them personally because
Okay.
I'm not swing trading, but they can. I mean, you can pick up some nice trends after a news release for sure.
Can you walk us through a little bit on your prep process, before these high volatile events? And then also, as you say, you don't really trade into them, but you trade reactively to them. So how do you prepare your strategy for that?
Yeah. So again, when I come to the desk every single day, and I can get up my charts and a bit, but basically the thing that I'm looking at is the opening range, right? Which I'll speak about now, and the New York session opening VWAP. So VWAP is volume weighted average price. So basically pulls data from the from the pricing and gives you like an average. Okay. And then I'm using, as I said, the 15-minute opening range. So from 9:30 a.m. Eastern time to 9:45 a.m. Eastern time is that you get a high and a low, and typically that can set like a range for easy example sake. You're above the opening range high, you'll be looking for longs. You're below the opening range low, you'll be looking for shorts, and then couple that in with a VWAP, and you can look for nice extensions. I mean, on the DAX, I can actually give you a nice example of a trade that I took on Friday that I actually had quite a nice little trade to the downside, but simply just using the opening range, high and low, as well as a volume weighted average price VWAP. So I can actually get that screen up for you guys and go over that for you. Okay, so this is actually a trade that I took on Friday on some of my prop firm accounts, as Francois mentioned, but simple. This is on the DAX, right? So the DAX will have a different opening to the US markets. The US markets open at 9:30 a.m. Eastern time. The DAX opens at currently 3 a.m. Eastern time, which is at the moment, I do believe that's 9 a.m. South African time. It's always changing, so that is quite a tricky one with us being in South Africa. But let's look over here, right? And this is an automatic indicator that gets printed for me. I work over with the guys at Edgeville. They get that done for me, right? We get a high. We get a low. This is a 5-minute time frame. I like trading with a 5-minute from an intraday perspective. And this blue line here is the start of London session VWAP. Essentially, what I'm looking for, as I mentioned, is below it, below the lows. I'm looking for shorts. If that lands with the VWAP, which we get there, and I took the break at the low and got a nice little move to the downside. I think it was about 70 points. I ran a little bit further. I didn't get the full move, of course not. You're not going to catch everything. But that's a nice little example from a trade that I took on Friday. Are you going to take losses? %. But this is in terms of my preparation, what I'm looking for. I keep it the same every single day. I know what news events are coming. As mentioned, I don't like to trade into them, so I won't have positions holding into NFP or on the NASDAQ or on the DAX or anything. I'll rather wait for the news release to come, and typically that is also normally before market open. The NFP is normally around 8:30 a.m. Eastern time. Obviously the open's at 9:30, so normally I wait for the open, as mentioned, for the first 50 minutes, and then I'll look to take positions. But that's what I'm looking at, opening range and the session VWAP.
Absolutely fantastic. And thank you so much for sharing that with us. So following sharing your strategy with us, as we can have a look currently in 2025, markets have been extremely aggressive. And based on that, what we've seen in the market, what do you think? Is the market currently more conducive to scalping or swing trading strategies when we currently look at indices as we are moving into this second half of 2025?
Yeah, so obviously based on the first half of the year, I would definitely say day trading or scalping strategies have worked best. I mean, I try to place a few swing positions on like some other accounts that I like to mix it up as a retail trader. I don't put all my eggs in one account. I like to trade different accounts maybe differently. But yeah, swing trading has been tough. I remember I was in a long on the S&P trying to pick a low and end up bouncing for me the one day. I was like, let me hold it up overnight, and then all of a sudden we had some tariff news overnight, and completely wiped me out. So I definitely think that day trading strategies have worked the beginning half of the year. What I mean by day trading is you closing your trades in and out on the same day. As mentioned, swing trading has been tough because there's been overnight gaps and everything like that. So I would, again, what is going to happen the next half of the year? I'm not too sure. I can't predict that. I can just, read and react. But I would say if you haven't tried day trading, definitely give it a go. You can still have your longer term, maybe swing trades playing in the background. But I definitely think for the indexes, if you've been getting smoked on them, trying to swing trade them, have a look at a day trading perspective with the opening range and the VWAP, what I've showed you just a second ago.
Zero commission on stocks? Yeah, nothing. What if you could get this value today? Turns out you can. Join ATFX now and let's get you started.
Thank you so much for that. I want to kind of shift and pick your brain a little bit as a coach. So you've obviously coached hundreds of traders. Now, as from your approach specifically to their development, how do you go about to avoid them from getting burnout in high volatility markets like how we are experiencing at the moment? I mean, as a trader, when you do take some losses, especially as markets are consistently changing right now, that can really mess with you mentally and you kind of get to this point where you want to give up. So how do you approach that with your own students to kind of move past that?
Yeah, that's actually a very good question. I think every trader experiences burnout at some point. And I think that's something for me that I actually had to learn for myself through taking losses while you're burnt out and you're mentally drained. I think from a perspective of the guys that we coach, especially after they've had like a nice payout or like they've taken a nice withdrawal, take an extra day or two off the charts and come back, refresh, refocus. I think for me, I'm trading at my best, and I know the guys that I'm coaching are trading at their best when they don't really care so much. They're just trading what's in front of them. They're looking to, there's their signal, their entry signal, their exit signal. They're taking it. They're not getting too caught up in like the results aspect. They're just looking at the process. And I think in terms of burnout, that is a massive one. One of our guys actually, he's a fantastic trader. He made $100,000 in a training week, and we told him, listen, dude, actually just take a break for at least another week, because that euphoria and everything like that can sometimes get you, and you can be like, listen, I'm going to just push the whole time. And I think markets aren't necessarily like that. Every single day is different, right? Some trading days are going to be great to trade and it fits your strategy and it fits your market great. And then other days and even other cycles in the market can be quite tough for you as a trader. Maybe you are a breakout trader and trades are kind of consolidating and you kind of have to play off levels. I don't do well in those markets. So that's when I know I need to actually probably just tame off a bit. And that's something that you can only learn really from experience and someone actually telling you and picking it up on. And then other times it's breakouts and I'm going along really, really nasty. So I think in terms of burnout and that type of stuff, really got to check like your the guys I coach, sleep levels. How are you sleeping? What are you doing off the desk to help with that? Exercise, stuff like that, family time. So yeah, I think that is crucial in terms of like keeping your mental, because trading is always going to be here for us, whether we like it or not. But we got to make sure that we don't just burn out every single week, So, yeah, it's a great one.
Absolutely beautiful. Bruce, final question. So, for serious indices traders watching this today, what should they be mastering in 2025 to stay ahead of the crowd?
It's a great question again. As I said, look at the opening range. I think from a technical aspect, opening range, that 50-minute opening range with the VWAP, go have a look at that. And the second one I would say in terms of the indexes is don't watch the stuff on social media and everyone else. Pick one or two, maybe, like this podcast, that you want to watch and you find value from. Stay focused on that. Stay focused on improving yourself every single day, and set yourself some goals and see if you are making progress towards them. But yeah, stay focused on yourself. Go check that from a technical aspect, that opening range, and then manage risk. That's it. Keep it simple. Look to improve every day.
Absolutely fantastic. James, thank you so much. It's been an absolute honor having you here today. And traders, keep these insights shared today in mind when you manage your next trade. If you found value here, be sure to hit that subscribe button and make sure to switch on the notification bell so you can stay up to date. And then that wraps up your daily market brief, brought to you by ATFX Africa, the broker that gives you an edge in today's markets. Head over to ATFX Africa to experience the difference for yourself. And then traders, until next time, stay sharp, stay focused, and trade smart.